You've likely seen tons of videos and blog posts stating how cheap Argentina is. But you may be questioning exactly how accurate are those numbers and how up to date are those prices? Are they boots on the ground accurate, or are they just way too good to be true? Are you wondering if $1,000 a month is enough to comfortably live in Buenos Aires? Well, I'm here to tell you the truth about the cost of living in Buenos Aires, and long story short, $1,000 a month isn't enough for most expats anymore. With inflation and rising prices, most guides are out to date. This video is going to break down the current cost and show you why you need a bigger budget to live comfortably. If you're moving for an extended stay or planning to retire in Buenos Aires, you need to watch this video to avoid making costly mistakes. I'm going to give you a real idea of what an expat budget should be in Buenos Aires.
For those that don't know me, I'm Marco Sison, and I'm thrilled to bring our community of 500,000 expats who visit Nomadic Fire's website another fact-filled video guide on our YouTube channel, where we bring you the best tips, tricks, and recommendations on how to live your best life abroad. NomadicFire.com brings you the best updated intelligence on expat life in different cities, countries overseas. With us, you get the unique perspective of having one source to compare, contrast, and capture life in retirement hotspots like Mexico, the Philippines, and Colombia.
Hola expats, it's Marco from Nomadic Fire here to talk about the beautiful capital of Buenos Aires, where the tango never stops and the asado smoke never clears. Today, I'm here to answer the question, is $1,000 a month enough for an expat to live comfortably in Buenos Aires? First, I'll explain why changes in late 2023 and early 2024 have made the prior budget estimates and cost of living guides obsolete. Second, I'm going to give you my background and methodology on how I calculate the cost of living so you'll get a feel for the quality of life I enjoy in Buenos Aires, and you'll get the chance to compare apples to apples of the cost of living in other retirement hotspots globally. However, if you're already familiar with Nomadic Fire's cost of living guides and are already familiar with the history of Argentina's economic roller coaster, you can jump right to the budget details by jumping to the timestamp marked right here. Okay, why $1,000 a month is no longer a realistic budget? Well, to answer that, you need a brief overview of Argentina's recent economic history. On December 13th, 2023, less than a couple weeks before Christmas, newly elected President Milei made a bold move to significantly devalue the Argentine peso by 50%. It went from 366 to 800 pesos per dollar. Families literally woke up one morning to find the cost of their kids' Christmas gifts had doubled overnight. Now, fast forward to today, the Argentina Senate just recently passed his massive economic reform bill this last June. Now, I am not going to comment on another country's politics and whether that was good or bad, but it is suffice to say that the impacts have been turbulent. Even in the short time that we've been here, the volatility of the cost of living has been shocking. Sure, prices everywhere are up all over the world, and it's one thing to read about Argentina's inflation hitting 271% annually, but it's another thing to literally watch your grocery bill double in just a few months. And I begrudgingly complain about prices because I fully grasp the position privilege I have as an expat. My retirement income isn't a stable currency like USD. If foreigners complain about prices, it is really difficult to imagine how the locals are coping with the country's current economic crisis. The cost of living calculation and lifestyle. Okay, with history out of the way, let's discuss the cost of living calculations, because Nomadic Fire has a unique methodology for comparing expat budgets in different cities. Our process details the specific prices, and we standardize cost calculations so you can compare the cost of living in Buenos Aires with the cost of living in Mérida, Mexico, and the cost of living in Manila, Philippines. And we're going to try to get you as close to an apples to apples comparison as possible, because it's really unfair to try to compare a budget that includes a $500 studio in Mérida, Mexico to a beautiful $1,000 two-story penthouse in Argentina. Now, you can find the details of our cost of living methodology in the link in the description box below. For Buenos Aires, here are the lifestyle assumptions I'm assuming. Housing, we're talking about renting a one-bedroom loft in Palermo, Hollywood. For food, we're eating out roughly 50% of the time. Entertainment, we like to keep a relatively active social life and we go out at least once per week. Transportation, for us, that is a mix of walking and taking advantage of the metro and Buenos Aires public transportation. For affordable luxuries, we usually have bi-weekly massages and we have weekly housekeeping. We also include the cost of our budget for health insurance and as well as some miscellaneous personal care expenses like soaps and shampoos and all that kind of stuff. Importantly, the exchange rate I'm using is $1 to 1,350 Argentine pesos. My monthly budget using the latest cost rounds up to about $1,500 per month. Now, let's cut to the chase. That kind of lifestyle in Buenos Aires goes way past $1,000. $1,000 just does not stretch as far as it used to in Buenos Aires. Now, you may find some budget expats or local porteños saying that they spend significantly less than that number. And those cite examples of lower cost housing in neighborhoods outside the expat bubble. They'll talk about shopping in cheaper markets and eating out less. They may even talk about saving money by cutting down on their social life. Now, I'm not making those sacrifices. When I look at cities to retire in, I want to enjoy a higher quality of life. I don't want to take my life in the US and make it less enjoyable, all to save just a few $100s. So, what is my quality of life on that budget? Admittedly, my lifestyle in Buenos Aires is about upper middle class. I live in a bigger apartment in my favorite neighborhood, Palermo, Hollywood. I'm within walking distance of nightlife, cafes, international restaurants, and all the amenities that make expat life in Buenos Aires so unique. I eat out quite a bit, but I'm not partying hard. I go out every weekend or so and do something fun. At $1,500 per month, I enjoy a standard of living I just couldn't afford in the United States. So let's put that $1,500 budget in perspective. The median salary of a senior software developer in Argentina is roughly $1,400. This is dollarized using the blue dollar rate. The average salary of an attorney in Buenos Aires with around 1 to 3 years experience is only about $1,100 per month, while a heart surgeon here clocks in an average salary of approximately $1,550. So my monthly spending is 30% more than that of an attorney and just above that of a software engineer and on par with someone who literally holds the fate of life and death in their hands. All right, let's break down the housing situation because the only way you're gonna be able to make $1,000 a month budget work here is to significantly reduce your housing costs. You can do that by choosing a less popular neighborhood like Almagro, Caballito, or Villa Crespo, or you can even downsize to a studio instead of taking a 1-bedroom. You can also look at signing a 1-year contract, but that's going to come with more requirements. When I first arrived in Buenos Aires, I found a cheap 1-bedroom apartment for about $400 a month that straddled the border between Recoleta and Retiro. The location was within walking distance of Tito Colón and the Recoleta nightlife and the restaurant scene. Now, what does a decent budget 1-bedroom apartment in a safe neighborhood look like now? Well, to rent one, you're gonna be looking closer to about $450 to $500 a month. And no, I'm not talking about a spacious industrial loft. I'm talking downsizing to a basic, no frills, small 375 square foot studio like this one. It's in a more local working class neighborhood of Almagro. It's still fully equipped, it's nicely furnished, it has a balcony and a nice 6-story view. But that $420 rent that I'm showing you there does not include electricity and gas, so you're gonna have to tack another $55 a month for utilities. That brings your housing expense to roughly $475 per month. Now, let's look at the housing on a $1,500 budget, which is a 1-bedroom loft in Palermo. Let's see what that upgrade looks like. For $800 in rent, you get an Instagram-worthy 2-story loft in Palermo, Hollywood. It features a compact kitchen, but it's functional. It has a stove, a coffee maker, a blender. It has a cozy living room and a comfortable couch with a large big screen TV and all your streaming options. The dining room there opens up to a balcony and offers a really nice view of the communal garden and a swimming pool. Upstairs, we have our office space and we have a spacious bedroom with a massive bed. It's even bigger than a king size. It measures over 2 meters wide. And behind our bedroom, you're gonna find a walk-in closet. We have a nice bathroom. The apartment gets loads of natural light, which is advantageous during the dreary and dark Buenos Aires winter months. This upgrade here includes some really nice amenities, including a 24-hour security, a rooftop barbecue area, and even a small gym and sauna. Although admittedly, the gym equipment's seen some better days. And best of all, this apartment is in my favorite neighborhood, Palermo, Hollywood. This building is just 1 block from the Metro Line D, and within a 15-minute walk, I had access to some of the city's best international restaurants and my favorite panderia, which made fresh medialunas daily. Let's talk about food. Food. It's the reason why many expats like me came to live in Argentina in the first place. It's amazing here. But food prices have soared roughly 28% within the first 3 months of this year. And the best way to control your food budget is to eat at home. I roughly eat out half of the time and then I'll cook half my meals. And if you do that, you'll spend roughly $100 to $200 a month on groceries. But that does not include any specially imported items. Remember, expat life can be remarkably cheap, but imported life, that's gonna be shockingly expensive. So do your best to stay local. Let me give you an idea. Here's a quick breakdown of some of the staples that I buy weekly to kind of get you an idea of what a grocery bill is gonna look like. You can see where I purchase ribeye beefs, chicken breast, and some vegetables. But let me give you an insider tip. If you shop locally at fruterias or carnicieras in your neighborhood, you can save some really good money. These are neighborhood specialty shops that are often cheaper and carry better quality than the big supermarkets. Inflation has hit restaurants as well. When we first arrived, a menu del dia at a decent local mid-range restaurant used to be about $4 to $5, and that was a really nice 3 to 4 course meal. You had a salad, an appetizer, a main dish, a dessert, and even a glass of that famous Argentine red wine. That same menu del dia now at the restaurant costs you around $6 to $7. Oh, and Buenos Aires has a superb restaurant scene, including some amazing international dining options when you get tired of steak. Now, here are some of my favorites. For Chang Ting, you can get really close to an authentic Thai or Vietnamese street food. The pho here is not my favorite. They really need to cook the broth a little bit longer, but the khao soi and the bánh xào are fantastic. Sudestra is another menu del dia spot. You can choose from 3 Asian fusion dishes, a soup, and again, a glass of that famous Argentine red wine. Murataki Ramen offers quality Japanese food at reasonable prices. You can get a bowl of tonkatsu ramen or 10 pieces of nigiri sushi for a really good price. And my favorite, Korean barbecue, which has all you can eat Korean food. And I mean, I can gorge myself on grilled meats, spicy side dishes, and bomb sauces for under $20. And that famous legendary Argentine steak, well, Iro is my go-to Argentina parrilla. I can get about a 1.5 ribeye steak big enough to share for about $30. But if you want to splurge and enjoy the Michelin star experience of Don Julio, you gotta be prepared to sell a kidney, because a 500-gram ribeye sets you back almost 70,000 pesos, which is over $50. Speaking of splurge, Buenos Aires has you covered. There are over 71 Michelin-rated restaurants here, including 7 with the coveted Michelin star in Buenos Aires. But my favorite splurge meal isn't even steak, it's sushi. Maru Omakase is a secret location in Palermo, and they only sit like 12 people, and so the sushi chef and the assistant chef are just focused on slicing and dicing and preparing the fish immaculate for you. Now, there's no menu. The sushi chef literally makes a personalized menu based on what's in season and what you like. Omakase in Japanese literally translates to, I leave it to you. We enjoyed a 10-step sushi tour, including 2 sashimi, some nigiri, some tamago, followed some hand rolls, and miso soup to finish. I can't remember all the different types of fish, but they included sea bream, eels, squids, scallops, prawns, salmon belly, mackerel. There were just tons. It was all so delicious. I mean, my parents lived in Tokyo for 5 years, and even they loved it. So Maru's mom and dad approved. Here's an insider tip. For a budget meal, Buenos Aires doesn't really have a street food culture, but it's hard to beat empanadas for cheap eats. Empanadas are an Argentine institution. These are like little handheld pastries. They're filled with beef or chicken and cheese, and each region in Argentina boasts their unique recipe. There's variations on fillings and doughs. And these pastries are either baked or fried, and you'll see them eaten at parties, family gatherings, festivals, or just as a quick bite while you're running to eat. My favorite one is Pulperia Francisco in Palermo, Hollywood. And I've eaten empanadas at dozens of places in the city, and this one still is my favorite. Try the Roquefort and Jamon or the Caprese, and they're only about $1 a piece. Buenos Aires is known to have some of the best nightlife in Latin America. People here have dinner around 10 p.m., then they start pre-gaming at midnight, and then they hit the clubs until 4 a.m. the next day. And then they go to an after party, which goes until 7 a.m. And now, if this sounds like a good idea to you, I hate to tell you, but you're not paying for those cocktails and club fees on that $1,000 a month budget. But honestly, this isn't me either. Even with my $1,500 budget, I'm not spending that. I may be young in my mind, but my body feels all the 50-year-old. I'm not much of a club goer anymore, but I still want to stay social. In Buenos Aires, I allocate roughly $50 a month for my entertainment. And this is spent more on activities that are better suited for my retired 50-year-old body. I'm talking about activities like my Muay Thai gym membership, where I get hands-on instruction, a sweat-inducing cardio workout, and some serious stress release from just hitting that heavy bag. And I only pay around $30 a month for that membership. My Muay Thai membership in the US was $130 a month, so this is a crazy deal. A skyline view is also one of the key factors when we choose housing because we like to have friends over. So with a nice view, we can kick back and we can share a bottle of that famous Argentine Malbec with friends for about $6 a bottle. And this bottle here is about $20 to $30 back in the US. And while I'm being all bougie with wine, I can continue kind of my Wolf of Wall Street impression with tickets to the orchestra or ballet at the world-renowned Teatro Colón. This is a stunning architectural marvel, and it's been the go-to spot for the operas and ballets and classical music since 1908. With its mesmerizing fresco ceilings and crystal clear acoustics, it feels like stepping into another world where every performance is nothing short of spectacular. And best of all, you can get standing room tickets for $5 to start. Now, I suggest splurging for proper seats on the balcony for about $16. Is ballet not your vibe? Well, Buenos Aires still has you covered because they have first-run Hollywood blockbusters in 3D premium class seats that allow you to recline like your favorite lazy boy chair, and they have footrests to get you even cozy, and tickets on Wednesday are half off. So this first-class movie experience is just $6. And here's a money-saving entertainment insider tip. Buenos Aires museums have free or half-price entry days. For example, the National Museum of Fine Arts, which includes pieces from Goya, Rembrandt, even Van Gogh, is free. And the Museum of Modern Art is free on Tuesdays, and the Museum of Latin American Art is half-price on Wednesdays. And here are two other fun and free things to do in Buenos Aires. One is people watching in the La Boca neighborhood in El Caminito, and practicing your best tango pose. This place is basically an open-air museum. You have these beautiful, colorful buildings here. And on Sundays, San Telmo blocks off Defensa Street and turns it into a massive and chaotic market. You'll find local craft goods here, mate cups, leather goods, local artwork, jewelry, coffee, all kinds of stuff. And there is a little bit of repetition, but the quality and variety are top-notch. It's called Feria de San Telmo. It's one of the biggest street events I've ever seen. I mean, no joke. There are stalls here that stretch for like 15 city blocks, sometimes even more. And you can sometimes not even see where the crowd ends. There are so many people here, and there are locals and tourists alike who love coming here. But if crowds aren't your thing, brace yourself, because there's a lot of folks here. We usually come here about once a month because it's a really fun thing to do. We walk around, we grab a bite to eat. It's a great way to spend a lazy Sunday. Here's an insider tip on safety. In San Telmo, keep your wallet secure and your bags held tight, and just be really cautious when you're waving your phone around taking pictures. San Telmo is notorious for petty theft and pickpockets and phone snatchers. Okay, let's talk about transportation costs in Buenos Aires. The transportation system here is phenomenal. It blows my mind. It's actually better than almost any city I've been to in Latin America, except for maybe CDMX. And that Sunday market I just referred to earlier, well, going from our apartment in Palermo all the way to San Telmo costs less than $1 on the metro. And that's a 7-mile, 12-kilometer ride, and it's less than $1. And if you're not in the mood for public transportation, you can catch an Uber or a Didi, and that's only about $4. I have a budget of about $50 a month for transportation, but I rarely ever hit that amount. Our apartment is an easy walk to the metro line, and you can get tickets there for like 40 cents a ride. If you live in Palermo, Hollywood, you're walking distance to everything you need, including the bars, restaurants, and markets. On a $1,500 a month budget, there's a few splurge items and affordable luxuries I can afford to spend money on that make my expat life in Buenos Aires just more convenient and more enjoyable. My favorite splurge is food, but I've given you a thorough rundown of where I like to spend money on food, so I'm not gonna repeat myself. But seriously though, Buenos Aires has some of the best value, high quality, delicious food I've had anywhere in the world. I hate cleaning. Having someone scrub my bathroom, clean my kitchen, and clean my floors is an affordable luxury I am willing to pay for. I mean, the sense of calm I get walking into a bedroom that's been freshly organized, wiped down, and mopped, and having my bed already made for me, that's money to me that's just well spent. Plus, it's only about $10 a week, and the peace of mind for that is worth every penny. I keep my calendar full here. I had the kickboxing about 4 days a week. I take tango classes 2 days a week. I do calisthenics or yoga 2 days a week, and I have physiotherapy 1 day a week. I mean, I need to treat myself to 1 hour massage to help my body recharge and get my muscles ready for the next week's activity. My masseuse charges me $15 for 60 minutes or $23 for 90 minutes, and she'll even give me a package deal for $12 an hour if I buy 3 sessions up front. And here's my last insider tip. Not everything is affordable in Buenos Aires. Remember what I said, expat life is remarkably cheap, but imported life is shockingly expensive. And I don't just mean trying to get your favorite cereal. You can change cereal, it's no problem. But what happens when you need to replace your laptop or your cell phone? Well, be prepared for sticker shock. An iPhone from a local authorized iPhone reseller here costs about $2,500 US. That same iPhone is only $999 in the US. Yikes. And remember, Buenos Aires is notorious for cell phone snatching, so unless you want to spend a small fortune, keep your cell phone hidden when you're walking around, and if you need to check your messages or check directions of the phone, hold it against your body, up against a building. Stay safe. All right, let's tally up the numbers and see what makes up that $1,500 budget. Housing, $825. That's a spacious 1-bedroom loft in Palermo. Food, $425 per month, and that's about half my meals cooked and half going outside. Includes 2 splurge meals a month. $50 per month we spend on entertainment. We go out once a week. $50 a month we spend on transportation. That's a mix of walking and metro line. Affordable luxuries, that's our massages and house cleaning service. For $50 a month, we take care of our health insurance, and we can get you a quote using the link in the description box below so you can see what health insurance would cost you here. And lastly, there's another $50 for personal care and miscellaneous expenses. As a reminder, I'm using an exchange rate of 1,350 Argentine pesos to $1 US. But remember, the economy and the exchange rate can fluctuate daily. Okay, to answer the video's initial question, can you live in Buenos Aires for $1,000 a month? No, I don't think so. $1,000 a month in Buenos Aires is no longer the expat dream it once was. It's just not as cheap here. It's still very affordable, but I wouldn't say it's cheap. Now, can you survive on $1,000 a month? Maybe. You can live in a smaller flat, you can cut down on eating out, and you can slash your entertainment budget. You can scrimp and come in under $1,000, but will it be an upgrade to the life in the US? Probably not. You're gonna be constantly counting your pesos and missing out on what makes life in Buenos Aires truly special. My advice, if you're serious about moving to Buenos Aires, aim for at least $1,500 to $2,000 per month. That way you can enjoy all the city has to offer without constantly checking your wallet. Remember, life is too short for bad steak and an empty bank account. By saving up, planning smart, you can come and experience the real Buenos Aires, not just the budget version. And if you do decide to make a move, check out our other videos on the best expat neighborhoods in Buenos Aires, and also our most popular video, which includes the 14 biggest differences we found between the US and Argentina. We're here to help you every step of the way. So until next time, ciao from Argentina.